Hey, everybody, welcome back. It's Monday night, which, of course, is preceded by the word football. You might notice it's a little different tonight. If you're on right now, yeah, you figured it out. On a little bit earlier than usual because there's two Monday night games. That's right, we're treated to a pair of games, and it's going to be also next week. Got a couple of Monday nighters for reasons I still am not completely sure. I mean, fine, sure, more football, why not? We don't have buys yet, and then in a couple weeks we're going to start getting those overseas games in London. Things are going to get a little wacky, but you know what? Things were already pretty crazy in week 3. So let's do a quick recap of what went down and get ready to answer. If you have start sit questions, which you might, because again, not just one but two games tonight, and some players you maybe aren't completely sure about. T. Higgins, that whole Commanders offense, maybe what's going to go on there. Depends on where you're at, too, because a lot of people now have some legit decisions with, again, 4 teams still playing. Your matchup might be really close. That might swing the decision one way or another based on who you start or sit. So, of course, I will be here to answer all the questions you can possibly throw at me until game time starts. And Chris is normally here with me, of course, but he is busy now trying to hunt down all the owners who took Juwan Jennings from him on the waiver wire last week and see what he can do about that. Just kidding. Chris wouldn't do that. But hey, you did pick up Juwan Jennings. Good on you. I did have to talk about him on the waiver wire video because you know what? Not everybody picked him up before his ridiculous explosion last week because we just weren't sure that he had that Terrell Owens in him, which apparently he does. Not Brandon Ayuk. Oh no, not Brandon Ayuk. It's Juwan Jennings. But hey, let's all either celebrate or commiserate. I'll say I, of course, wish I had him in every single league, and I didn't. I can't pretend that I did get him in all my leagues, but I was able to at least pick him up a couple of times. I really find out now that I go over it, I'm not in that many redraft leagues. I think I'm in way more dynasty leagues than redraft. So, a guy like Jennings is usually just already taken by this point. Just if nothing else, someone's stashing him somewhere. Not me, but I was able to at least pick him up and throw him in a couple lineups. So I feel pretty good. And if you didn't, or especially if you went against him, you probably hate him right now. Hey, it's fine. I don't think he'll do it again next week. Of course, I say that, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, it will be really fun to see exactly how much he goes for in any league where he wasn't already added this week. I bet you will have some leagues where 100% of the fab gets dumped on him. So we will see how that turns out, especially once Debo and George Kittle come back. So we'll talk about that, and I'll go over each game real quickly, just to recap before we get into it. And I'm going to answer again. Start sit questions for tonight. Waiver wire early, why not? Trade questions, whatever you got. All right, you know how we roll here. If it's fantasy football related, we'll get to it. And let's start with Jets Patriots. That Thursday night game. Remember that? Remember Mondre? All right. So Mondre disappointed. The Jets were okay. I wouldn't say it was an amazing offensive display, but Breece Hall still steady. Braylon Allen showing he has value. Got to talk about him again. Second time I'm talking about him on the waiver wire. I think he actually is worth picking up whether you have Breece Hall or not. He doesn't look like just a handcuff. So that's my big takeaway from that game, is the Jets are just going to continue to be run heavy, and you should be interested in not only Breece Hall, but Braylon Allen. Pat's offense is still basically Ramondre sometimes, everybody else no. That includes Hunter Henry. And yes, that includes Mario Douglas. I will have to probably give a preemptive apology to Daniel Jones. I got to admit, look, Washington game easily could be dismissed as it was Washington's defense, but I really thought we would see vintage, like week 1 version of Daniel Jones against the Browns. So I don't know if either the Browns defense isn't as good as I thought they were, or Daniel Jones is better than I thought he was. It's probably a little bit of both, right? It's probably somewhere in between. I will say the Browns just in general Very disappointing, of course. I mean, some of it goes to the offense. They can't move the ball consistently too much, so that puts more pressure on the defense. But still, this defense isn't always carrying its weight. But man, Malik Neighbors, I mean, everyone who said, yeah, he's one of those guys who doesn't matter who the quarterback is, you were right. Because that touchdown, actually probably both touchdowns, and another catch that he made, he had to reach as far as he possibly could, and he still got it. So those passes weren't even good passes, and he still converted them. So he is really just that good. So I think just throw out the team context. If he's really that guy, which it looks like he is, generational talent, we abuse that term, but I think it applies here. I think it's pretty obvious now. So he's just got to be all in on Neighbors at this point, all in. And even though a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr. looks like he's in a much better situation, he's not putting up better numbers because Neighbors is the only guy really worth throwing it to repeatedly in New York. So there you go. That's my takeaway from that game. Neighbors, I guess, is just going to be him, no matter who's at quarterback. Bears and Colts. Look, I will just say this: a lot of people still down the Bears, loving to dunk on Caleb Williams and his turnovers and what. Caleb Williams showed something to me in this game. I really think it's happening. So we'll see this coming week what he does. But I was encouraged, if anything, by him. Not the Bears' offensive line, that's for sure. But man, if they can get just even like a halfway decent offensive line, he really could be special right away. We'll see if that happens this year, though. Vikings and Texans. Are the Vikings really this good? Or did the Texans just not show up in Minnesota? Probably a little bit of both. The defense is legit. I will say that. The defense did its job. Sam Darnold, I have to admit, he fits this system. Props to Kevin O'Connell. Even with, of course, you got Justin Jefferson there, but Jordan Addison's hurt. Jalen Naylor didn't emerge until this year. Hawk is hurt. No tight end to throw to. This is Darnold doing most of the work himself. It's not just Jefferson doing this. So, I mean, yeah, credit to them for what they're doing. I do think the Texans bounce back pretty big next week, though. So just keep that in mind. We're looking for a rebound, possible boom picks. Eagles Saints was far more boring than we anticipated. We figured the Saints wouldn't beat every good team that they played, and they didn't. Derek Carr turned back into Derek Carr. I guess we shouldn't really be too shocked, should we? And then the Eagles, of course, had trouble because A.J. Brown was out. And then Devontae Smith also got hurt when he was on his way to a big game. So got to worry about Jalen Hurts, some of his value, especially with Saquon running so well. Jalen Hurts is not vulturing touchdowns from Saquon Barkley. It's kind of the other way around. I mean, yes, Hurts does have a rushing touchdown, but yeah, all those people who are worried about Barkley in Philadelphia, that was pointless. Steelers, Chargers, also low scoring as we anticipated. Nothing much going on there except Justin Herbert. Now very much in doubt. High ankle sprain, and this is a re-aggravation. So we might see the Chargers, if it is all possible, run more next week. We'll see. The Broncos decided they wanted to score some points this year, and the Bucks, I mean, this one look, I'm not hating on Denver, but I'm just going to say I really think Tampa just did not show up. It was a home game against a bad team. I think they just took it for granted. I mean, there's no excuse here. There's really no excuse. They didn't show up on either side of the ball. They didn't even mount a comeback or anything. So, yeah, it was just kind of pathetic. I do think the Bucks will get better. This is just one of those things that happens in week 3. The teams that are 2-0, they're undefeated, they're 2-0, and they'll let down. And those winless teams are desperate for a win. They'll fight harder. I think this is what happened here. The team, it should have been a mismatch, but the Bucks weren't really like a 3-0, like undefeated type of team. You know what I mean? They're not that good. And the Broncos, I think they are still that bad, but I guess they at least showed some fight. They didn't want to be 0-3. I really think that's what it comes down to. And I really still think the Broncos will wind up being one of the worst offenses, if not the worst offense in the league, especially now because Carolina has an offense. And Andy Dalton, man, this just pretty much ends Bryce Young's career in Carolina. I would love for the Dolphins to trade for him. I would love it, because is he really worse than Skylar Thompson, Tim Boyle? You saw Skylar Thompson. I know you did. This is what I was worried about. So I would gladly take Bryce Young at this point. So fire up Deontay Johnson, fire up Chuba Hubbard. Yep, all in on those guys. That's where I draw the line, but you got to be in on those guys. And the Raiders, it's funny. It looks like the Raiders are going to be that team that will beat the good teams and lose to the bad teams. They're just going to be that one team every week that screws everything up. How do you come back to beat the Ravens in Baltimore and then at home lose to the Panthers? That's the Raiders. Packers are looking like offensive juggernaut, even with Malik Willis. With Love coming back, you got to feel really good about everything Packers, and you got to feel pretty bad about everything Titans. That's pretty much it. And then, of course, the Dolphins. There's nothing good going on there right now at all, period. And the Seahawks, 3-0. This is legit. I really think I was super high on the Seahawks offense. I still am. Nothing has discouraged me. I mean, they took their foot off the gas pedal in the second half here. For real, they could have scored a lot more points. And then there's the Cowboys. Oh, Cowboys put up some garbage time points and yardage, and that's all it was. Cowboys are kind of a mess right now. I mean, I really wonder if McCarthy lasts the season if they continue to do this. There's really no excuse. The Ravens did fight. They're one of those teams that did not want to lose again. So credit to the Ravens, but also Cowboys. Yeah, this is self-inflicted. Lions Cardinals, not as high scoring as we thought, especially the second half was really boring and disappointing. So I hope these two teams score more points next week. But you probably know the big headline there is both stud tight ends, McBride and Laporta, out. Yeah, when you thought tight end couldn't get worse, I think we're all going to petition now for tight end to just be officially eliminated from fantasy next year. I don't think anybody is really going to fight against that. And then let's do 49ers Rams. All these star players are out, but there's only one star. And his name is Juwan Jennings. That's going to be a big topic of conversation this whole week. And then Chiefs Falcons, surprise, surprise. Chiefs found a way to pull out a close one. Falcons did not have that comeback in them at the very end there, although they tried. This game was, I think, how a lot of Chiefs games are just going to go. I just don't know now at this point with Pat Mahomes. Is he really going to be an elite fantasy quarterback anymore? I don't see it. I don't know. But let's see what your questions are. We'll get to that pretty soon because I do have a pair of Monday night games. A lot of you guys already have some questions in there. And let's also remind everybody who's on, whether you're on live or not, you got questions at any time. Remember, if you can't catch the live stream, you don't want to wait, you're not sure about using that super chat feature, well, no worries, because we do have an app, and it's called Draft Lane. So if you haven't tried it yet, it's called Draft Lane. It's free to download the App Store or the Play Store. Just go ahead and try it out right now. And if you are new to signing up to Draft Lane, you're going to get a $10 credit to try it out. Again, the app is free. Got some features there that are paid features, same as asking the super chat, but you can try it out, no risk, because you're getting that credit just for trying it right now. Limited time offer, of course. So if you haven't tried it yet, you definitely should. We're as soon as log off here, besides watching games, while watching the games, we're going to be answering questions on the app. I've been answering them all day. So again, it's the same thing. You ask all your questions anytime, and Chris and me will be answering those. All right. And then, of course, Underdog. We're still partnered with Underdog. Underdog is the place to get your NFL picks in. You can also do weekly drafts. We don't even talk about that as much, but you can still do those weekly tournaments, those, small 6-man, 3-man league drafts, and try to win some money there. And, of course, the picks here. If you're a new customer on Underdog, you can still do this one for tonight. Joe Burrow, I have a feeling he's going to have a big game against Washington. He really should. But, even if he just gets 1 yard, you still win this pick. It's a free pick for you. 0.5 total yards. Go higher. If you're new to Underdog, you get this pick. All you have to do is sign up. And then also, more money Mondays. Profit boost token. That's right. Monday Night Football means more money. So you get that token, and not just new, but existing customers can take advantage of this. So if you already got your Underdog account, go ahead and make sure you take advantage of this More Money Mondays. Just make sure if you haven't yet signed up, use that promo code ENDGAME to get all of these and more. All right, let's get to our guys here. Live wire. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's exactly right. Hit that like button. Got football to watch pretty soon, but try to squeeze in some questions here as much as possible. And then Juice, no questions, but yeah, Juwan Jennings, I think he probably helped you a little bit. Taysom's coming back next week, right? I think I saw he might be good for next week. We'll see if he plays. I don't know. Saints might need him now. All right. Well, I'm glad it helped Juice. All right. What's up, Young Money? Up 20 points with Kincaid and B-Rob left to play. Opponent has Josh Allen and Shakir. Yeah, I think you should be good. I mean, Kincaid, obviously we can't expect too much, but he should get you something. I really don't see Shakir like vastly outscoring him, and B-Rob should be good to go. So unless Josh Allen just goes berserk, I think you'll be fine. So yeah, 2-0. I'd say you got it. As long as Josh Allen isn't running in like 2-3 touchdowns. All right, what's up, Moises? Needs some help streaming quarterback. Carr became himself. Okay, so other quarterback in addition to Carr to pick up from waivers. All right, well, the guy I mentioned first on the waiver wire video for this week was Caleb Williams. And it isn't just about who had the most yardage, yesterday. Sam Darnold had more touchdowns and just generally looked better. But I will say this, Caleb Williams has the matchup advantage for sure this coming week because he gets that Rams defense that, although it didn't look like they gave up that many points to the 49ers, they gave up a ton of yardage and specifically to the passing game, wide receiver, quarterback. And they've been doing this basically all season now. I just like Caleb Williams to take another step forward. And I mentioned that Keenan Allen might be back. Whatever you think of him, that still helps. So if they're going to let Caleb Williams sling it like they did, man, why not? Now, he might not have to throw that many times just because who knows if they'll actually be down in this game. But I still like him. I still think he's got a good floor. Darnold, the only thing is at Green Bay, not great situation there. I think he'll be fine. So you can go Darnold. Fields is an interesting one because, now I'm seeing that Najee and Jalen Warner are both hurt. You got to wonder, again, it's Monday, right? We don't know. But if both running backs are limited or maybe even out, does this mean we see Justin Fields not unleashed, but maybe the leash gets loosened like a little bit? Maybe they'll let him run more than a couple times, and maybe he actually throws it more down the field. They might not have no choice, but it's too early to say that. I still think I would go Caleb as my first choice. Darnold is my second. I'll say if you already have all of these guys out there on waivers, you shouldn't need to spend that much. Probably not many other people are streaming QB in a 12-team league that are going to go after these guys. So if you don't get one, oh well, you get the other. So like 5% I think should be enough. I don't want to overspend for a streaming quarterback. You know what I mean? Because you do have multiple options here. All right, Boomer. Let's see. Down 30. You got JD. You got Chase and a kicker. Okay, well, if you got all three and your opponent has nothing, you do have a pretty good chance. I don't know if it's 79%. Look, in ESPN, I don't know your format here. If it's 4-point touchdowns, JD, I mean, no guarantee he does run or throw for a touchdown because he didn't last week, but he's getting you double digits. Chase should definitely get you double digits. I think it's more 60 to 65% chance. Yeah, but I think you should be fine. I mean, look, this is Chase against the Commanders. He should have a big game. So I feel good. Not 79% good, but good. All right. What's up, Julio? Busted at every position. All right. This is a great question. What do we do with Richardson? Because he hasn't run in any scores the last 2 weeks, and he's just looked bad as a passer. And this is what I was afraid of last year. And this year I kind of said, it's okay. Don't worry about it. He doesn't have to throw if he's running. Well, he's not, because Jonathan Taylor is doing it all. And he's looking kind of bad. It might be time to sit him if you have a good option, but I don't know who else you have. I'm not sitting him, to start Sam Darnold just yet. Maybe down the road, but I'm not there yet. So it might be. Would I drop JMO or Worthy? I'm not dropping JMO after one bad game. No, I think he'll be fine. For Deontay, man. Okay, well, Jennings is out there and Deontay's out there. Oh, man. I mean, I know it's hard to look and say, how do you not add Jennings? But I really think rest of the season, I really think Deontay's the better add. And somebody's going to spend 50% or more of their fab to get Jennings. You don't need to do that. I'd rather spend less and get Deontay. Deebo Samuel will be back in a couple of weeks. George Kittle might be back this week, if not next week. CMC might be back mid-season. Juwan Jennings is not going to be the number one receiver the rest of the season. He's not going to have a 175-yard game again. I can almost promise you that. I'm not going to do one of these pledges involving a burrito at Taco Bell to promise it, but I'm going to almost guarantee that he's not getting a game like he had in week 3. So I will say I would go for Deontay and drop Worthy. I don't want to drop JMO. And you can't obviously drop A.J. Brown or Mason. So there you go. Dan Fuller, what's up, Dan? Tuck of week in the flex. Nico and Garrett. Who did I flex this week? Here we go. Okay. Man. I haven't even done start sit for this week yet. I got to really think about this one. Okay, so let's look. Patriots get the 49ers. Juwan Jennings, obviously a strong start here. Cooper coming off a big game. The Browns going out the road against the Raiders. High upside there again. Deontay, of course, was also a stud. The Andy Dalton revenge game against the Bengals. I'm going to go ahead and tell you now, I probably have Jason as a boom this week, a guy I think could go off. But then again, he didn't go off at all last week. He's probably riskier than these guys. So I think it's either Cooper or Jennings. Cooper or Jennings. Do I consider sitting Garrett Wilson because he's playing the Broncos and Pat Surtain? I actually might. Honestly, I might sit Garrett Wilson and put Cooper and Jennings in there. That's what I might do. All right. Carl, how you doing? Up 43, have Higgins and a kicker. He has Moss Etienne. Yeah, you're fine. Kickers cancel each other out. Higgins, even if he does nothing, or Etienne and Moss combining for 43, 40 plus, yeah, you should be good. Definitely should be good. All right, Augustin Puente, thank you. Up by 13. Have Joe Burrow and B-Rob. My opponent has Josh Allen, Jamar Chase. Now this is going to be a tougher one. Because if Joe Burrow goes off, then there's a good chance Jamar Chase is doing something as well. And I still don't know, even against the Commanders, if Joe Burrow is outscoring Josh Allen. So this might be a nail biter. I mean, you both have 2 really good players left. Yeah, I can't even call this one. This is going to come down to the wire. So, toss-up. I think it's a toss-up, honestly. I mean, at least you have the advantage right now. But, yeah, Chase versus B-Rob, that's a big difference. So, we'll see. Alex B. Thought about doing it last week. Gave him one more chance. No drop. Yes. I'm done. Done with Zamir White, not just because he didn't score and Alexander Madison did, because it's clear that Antonio Pierce is using Madison as the goal line back, and Zamir White's just not really running that well. He just isn't. I was checking out the PFF grades earlier this afternoon. He's near the bottom of all running backs, and I don't just mean he's not a good receiver. No, in rushing, just pure rushing grade, near the bottom, not getting goal line touches, not really involved with the receiver, just drop. Just drop Zamir White, be done with it. Definitely can pick up any of those guys. If I had to rank him, I think you got to go Chuba first because he is the starting running back, getting all the touches, almost all the touches. Irving going to have a bigger role, but not as big as Chuba. Braylon, same thing. So definitely drop Zamir. Go Chuba first choice, Braylon second choice, Irving third choice. All right. Carl, a couple more here. Is Cooks, side channel droppable? Yes and yes. Thoughts and Dowdle and Javante, both droppable as well. I think all of those guys, you don't have to really hold any of them. Nope. None of them. Is MHJ for JT a fair trade? I would prefer JT. I won't say it's unfair, but I think JT side definitely has the advantage, getting that stud running back. So, yeah, fair, but I know which side I clearly prefer. Now, here's the big question. Do you sell high if you didn't have Juwan Jennings? That's a great question. Sure. Because it depends what you're getting, right? Sell high. What high is? Like if someone says, I'll give you JT for Juwan. Yes, give me JT for Juwan Jennings. If someone's like, T. Higgins is back. How about T. Higgins for Juwan Jennings? I don't care if T. Higgins scores 3 touchdowns, 175 yards. I'm still not doing it with T. Higgins because of the risk. Sorry. So you can always sell high as long as it's high. What do we do with Pittman? I don't think you can just drop him as of now. I mean, again, there's some issues there in Indy, the whole passing game, and Pittman himself has not been great, but I'm still not dropping him. Just like, honestly, I'm extremely curious to see if Christian Kirk does anything tonight. Like, I think it was too early to drop him after 2 games. If he continues to do what he's done, which is nothing, yeah, okay. But I'm still going to hold out on Pittman just a little bit. Got to remember with Anthony Richardson, it's easy to forget. It's not just his second year, but he was out last year after, the 4th game? I mean, he's got all of, 6, 7 NFL games under his belt now. It's going to be a work in progress still, especially as a passer. 7 games in his NFL career. So we got to have a little bit of patience here. Okay. Frosif, good evening. All right, trying to pivot off of White to get Jacobs. Okay, so White, I'm going to assume Rachaad White here. Zamir White is pretty much not tradable, I don't think. So what do you think of White Flowers for Jacobs Deontay? Yes, give me the Jacobs Deontay side. Like Flowers a lot, but Deontay now is looking like what we thought he should look like. Jacobs or White, huge upgrade. So definitely can do that. So where's Puka? Yeah, you're pretty deep at receiver. I mean, obviously Puka, you're without Waddle. Very sad, but you can get by with Wilson, Deontay, Olave. That's still pretty good. So, but it's just worth it for that running back upgrade. So yeah, you can definitely do that. Okay, if you can get White worthy for Jacobs, yeah, I would do that first. Definitely try that first. This is interesting. Godzilla Toes. What's up? Rachaad White for Bucky Irving. Buck for buck. Straight up. I mean, right now, who would you rather have? One guy's stock is going this way. The other guy's going this way. Does it matter when you draft them? If you drafted them at all this year? Not anymore. Rachaad White is going to continue to trend down as long as Bucky Irving trends up. And Todd Bowles cannot get enough of Bucky Irving. Like he just like, think of the way that Dennis Allen just can't help himself, throwing Kendre Miller under the bus. That's like Todd Bowles, but the opposite with Bucky Irving. Like, he just continues to praise him every week. We saw this in the preseason every week. So, yeah, I would do this. I'd rather have Bucky Irving at this point. Okay, let's see. Interesting one. Nelson. Trade A.J. Brown for B-Rob and Neighbors. Why not? Why not? I mean, A.J. Brown coming back, sure, stud. Neighbors is already a stud. Apparently, he's just that guy. Apparently, Daniel Jones cannot ruin him. And you get a running back too, why not? I would do this. You asked me 2 weeks ago, I wouldn't have done this. This week, I think you got to do it. All right. Just nabbed Hank Bigsby off the waivers. A lot of... why not? I mean, if you need him, that's fine. Still doesn't hurt to have him. Egg gang. All right. So if you're looking for something tonight, Etienne or Moss, you got to go Etienne. Etienne, clearly the leader there. I mean, I know Bigsby in week 1, they split, but last week Bigsby was hurt. Bigsby is back, but I still think we see more Etienne. Etienne is still very serviceable in fantasy. Moss, he's okay. He's just okay. He's the leader in that backfield, but they really just haven't had a running game. So Moss is more touchdown or bust. I think you got to go Etienne. All right, what else we got here? Let's get to the super chats first. Make sure nobody's waiting too long here. Sammy, nice. 25% chance and you won. Well, look, and forget all that stuff. Don't worry about the probabilities and the projections. It goes out the window anyways when the games start. But there you go. Juwan Jennings carried some teams single-handedly. Man, I don't even know. That one league I did start him in our endgame league. I'm still not sure if I'm going to win based on how tonight goes, but I know that he basically got like not half, but maybe like 40% of my week's total points. It was Juwan Jennings. So if I win, he's getting the game ball. That's for sure. All right, let's see. Gotta make sure if there's any questions for tonight's game. We'll do those first. Okay, don't see anything. Okay, let's do Ice Cold Jones. Welcome back. Trade Richardson Pittman, the very disappointing Colt combo, for Zay Flowers and Kyler Murray. Yes. Yes. I mean, look, I'm not giving up on these Colts, but why would you not do this if Kyler Murray is already an upgrade from Richardson and there's maybe not no chance, but I don't see Richardson far surpassing Kyler Murray in fantasy value, and he has more risk. And then Zay Flowers or Pittman, man, if you can get Flowers and Murray for those Colts, smash right now. All right, yeah, you know what? Okay, we don't know about Gesicki, right? We'll see what he does this week. Maybe he does go off. Brandon, you are totally excused for sitting Dallas Goedert, because what did Dallas Goedert do last week with no A.J. Brown? Nothing. And it just so happened, which nobody predicted, that Devontae Smith and Britton Covey, who is actually the number 2 receiver in Philadelphia now with A.J. Brown out, both got hurt in the middle of the game. They literally had nobody else to throw to except for Jahan Dotson, who has only been there a couple of weeks. So Dallas Goedert was getting fed just by default because of the injuries, and not just A.J. Brown, but the injuries that happened in game. And yeah, a big chunk of his yardage did come, I think it was in the fourth quarter at the very end of the game, that big play downfield where somebody missed a tackle. So look, nobody could have predicted that Goddard would feast like this after doing nothing the first 2 weeks. Now it makes sense. We're like, okay, well, got to be in on Dallas Goedert, especially if Devontae Smith misses week 4, which he definitely could. I mean, what, do we just have to start Goddard? Yeah, I think we do. I mean, who else do you like at tight end? Probably won't be Gesicki. So I know you're sad, but looks like you're saying you're still going to win. That's good. Don't worry. Don't you worry. It's not your fault. It's, it's just what happens. Alexis Aguilar did a trade DeMarcus and Barkley for Lamb and Kelsey. Interesting. I mean, could say you might regret trading Barkley, but you can't regret getting Lamb. I don't think this is something you should regret. And you're like, okay, well, Kelsey's looking like he's toast, but what did Demarcus Robinson do? He did nothing. So this is kind of even, honestly, right now. If nothing else, maybe you at least just don't have to think about tight end. You can just keep Kelsey in there and take the 5 points he gives you, as opposed to scrambling on the waiver wire to look for 2 points. So as long as you're still good at running back, I don't think you should have regrets. I mean, you got stud for stud. So I think that's fine. All right, Trone. Better stash of Benson and Bigsby. I'm going to go Benson because I'm a little higher on that offense overall. Bigsby's still fine. This is close, but I'm going to go with a rookie with the upside. And again, I just feel better about Arizona's offense this year. Jacksonville still has a lot to prove. I mean, I'm not entirely sure they'll put up too many points tonight. Could be wrong, but man, I don't know. All right, let's see. Jet Shepard. Welcome, Jet. Should you drop the Packers defense? Yes. For a free agent such a brilliant. Look, if you're asking if you have to drop a defense, if you can drop a defense, the answer is almost always going to be yes, because you can pick up whatever defense. And the Packers get the Vikings next week. I mean, the way the Vikings are playing, that's not like a great spot anyways. All these guys are on your waiver wire. Just take your pick. Look, obviously in order here, assuming you don't need a running back to start. If you do, it'd be number 1, Chuba. If not, number 1, Jennings. Number 2, Chuba. Then Akers. Then Allen. All of these guys are worth adding, and definitely for a defense. All right, Terry R. Best Hail Mary tight ends. So we're talking tonight. Gesicki or Kincaid? Down 45. Oh, man. Well, I mean, I think you've got to go with the one who you just think is better, and the better team is Kincaid. I would have just said Gesicki, but now T. Higgins is back. And look, honestly, how high can Gesicki's upside really be? I mean, he's good for a streaming tight end, but just go Kincaid and just hope the Buffalo blows them out of the water. It probably won't matter, but you just go all in on the Bills. That way you have one team to root for here. But no, go Kincaid here. If you got Kincaid, you don't need to start Gesicki. Good luck, Terry. I'm definitely pulling for you. Shorty, trade Kelsey for Hawkinson at this point. No, I wouldn't trade $2 a fab for Hawkinson at this point, because what are you getting? Nothing. You're going to get a guy who's going to be sitting on, IR for a few more weeks and then working his way back. There's no point. I mean, this doesn't help you. So, no. All right, let's see what's next. All right, Mo. Gonna assume you didn't watch the waiver wire video. Shame on you. Yeah, it's worth picking up. This is the regularly scheduled dog parking that always happens. And now I can't listen to Chris. Okay. Yes, Jennings. Okay, so he is 3-0. That's good. I think you can drop QJ Johnston because he's been okay. He's been good. Can't do anything against Quentin Johnson. But Herbert is now hurt, and this is not going to be a high volume passing attack anyways. So I think for a guy like Jennings, drop Johnson. All right, what's up, 95? Doing well? Yes, definitely doing very well. All right, Strange or Gesicki? Oh, man. We've pivoted to Strange. Gesicki's still not a bad choice here against Washington, but Strange should be in line for more targets. Again, this changed midweek when we knew Higgins was coming back. Gonna go Strange. Other thing with Gesicki is you do also have to wonder. Get other tight ends involved. Eric All, there's other tight ends for Cincinnati. So it's not just Gesicki. All right, Brandon Sky. What's up, Brandon? Week 2, benched Harrison for Jones. Okay, yes. Bench Aaron Jones for JMO. Okay, thank you. All right. Thank you, Brandon. Sloth. If Zach Moss goes off tonight, do I sell high? I don't imagine that Zach Moss will go off. But if he does, then sure, I think you can sell high because there's definitely limited upside here as far as what he can do. I mean, even if Chase Brown's a non-factor, this is not going to be a run-heavy offense. And, I mean, I don't know. If he does go off tonight, then what do we say? It's just the Commanders, right? This is not exactly a tough matchup. So I think this is good thinking, right? Looking ahead, if it happens. And if he does go off, I mean, realistically, it's going to be what? Because he scored a couple of touchdowns. Probably not that he ripped off, some 70-yard touchdown run. This is not his thing. Moss is solid, but he's never going to be a guy who has the upside to be a top 10 running back. So sure, always sell high. Let's see. Let's go. Who else we got here? J.R. Fuentes. Who would you trade Rachaad White for? There's not too many players I wouldn't trade Rachaad White for, right? Honestly, I have Williams, Will, Connor. Okay. So who would I trade Rachaad White for? In other words, who could you trade Rachaad White for that would be reasonable but also fair, right? Like, you're not going to make an unrealistic trade offer. You're not going to get a stud running back for Rachaad White anymore. I think that's pretty obvious. You're going to have to go for someone who may be kind of a buy low here, somebody who maybe hasn't been great but could be better long-term than Rachaad White. I will say I was disappointed bitterly by Tony Pollard this week because the whole Titans team obviously just fell apart. I think I'd still rather have Pollard than Rachaad White rest of season. Let's see. Who else is reasonable? I mean, I doubt you get Ramondre Stevenson as bad as he was. Maybe somebody's so just bitter that they'll rage trade him after last week. Oh, that's it. It's over. I mean, you could try that. It never hurts. Just depends. Realistically, for Rachaad White, it's not a whole lot. I don't know if you could even get like a Devin Singletary for him. I don't even know. So you could also try to get like a wide receiver 3 type possibly, but that's the problem is his trade value is just gone way down. You don't really need a receiver necessarily, but take what you can get. All right, Antoine. What's up, Antoine? Neighbors undisputed undefeated. Well, I mean, look, he's the wide receiver 1 right now. I can't say anything against him, obviously, anymore. But remember, after last week, J.K. Dobbins was the RB1. It was league winner. It's still a small sample. So Malik Neighbors, number 1. Is he a wide receiver 1 in fantasy rest of the season? Probably. probably. Yeah. Oh, I know. That's exactly right. Neighbors really makes Daniel Jones' numbers look far, far better than they should. He can do that though. He's getting away with it. I mean, that's the difference having that elite receiver can make. I mean, it really does make a difference. And that's why you see receivers getting drafted so high these days. Okay, let's get to Miguel Perez. All right, down 11, you have T. Higgins. Okay, that's it? Well, yeah, you definitely have hope. I mean, look, I understand more than anyone, T. Higgins, what it's like to have T. Higgins, because I don't have a lot of T. Higgins. I'm definitely never been a T. Higgins, stan. But T. Higgins continues to bitterly disappoint me whenever I do take a chance on him. And so, look, if he's actually healthy, 11 points should be a breeze in this matchup. So the risk isn't whether he doesn't do anything or they don't throw it to him, is does he pull up lame with a hamstring issue after like the first quarter? It's always possible, but you should be good. I wouldn't count it out. Now, if you don't want to watch the game, I don't blame you, but you should be okay. Yes, oh yes. Oh man, Dolphins. I don't know. Do I really have to talk about the Dolphins? I don't think I have to. Okay. Anyways, let's see what else we got. Especially if we got anything for tonight, I'll make sure to get to those first. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Terry R. Already got to your question, Terry. So thank you. All right, Boomer. Okay, we're gonna catch up here. Johnny Pena. Is it safe to drop Downs, D-Rob, Myers, Lazard, Leggett? I mean, I don't know. Is there a reason you're going to drop those two guys for any of those guys? I'm not sure if there's really a compelling reason to add Jacoby Myers right now. That Raiders offense was bad yesterday, and now they don't know who their quarterback is. So I don't think I'm adding Myers at the moment, especially with Brock Bowers looking so good. That's not good for Myers. Leggett, no, it's too soon to be on any Panthers receiver who isn't Deontay Johnson. I'll just say that. Maybe, but I'd rather take a shot on D-Rob, maybe doing something next week. Lazard, okay, fine, just because he apparently is going to get targeted just because Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback there. So I think you can drop Downs for Lazard. Let's put it that way. Ooh, Veo. All right, one for tonight. Veo, down 30. You got Josh Allen, so that's good. But Ertz or Gesicki? Well, I mean, we know the upside with Ertz is limited. He might get you 4 or 5, maybe 6 catches. For what, 50, 60 yards, touchdowns? Not likely. So Gesicki would have the higher ceiling, but also the lower floor. So it really depends on, is Josh Allen going to get you enough that you just need those few points? I think you might want to play it safer and go Ertz and get your sure points. Because I would hate to say you start Gesicki and he gets you 2 points and Josh Allen got you 25 and then you fall short. You know what I mean? Ertz should at least be able to get you something. So if you were, down more, or if you didn't have Josh Allen, it was somebody else, like, Jane Daniels, okay, maybe Gesicki, but I think I would just go Ertz. That's what I would do. All right, Shorty, it's interesting. All right, so is anybody going to try to trade for Kelsey? Is this a buy low window? Or, again, is Kelsey just dust? Is he done, as we were worried about at the end of last year, which is what makes me worry that it's the same as last year, that maybe this is the start of the ending, that maybe, honestly, you can't tell me this is not a legit possibility. Maybe his his heart and soul just isn't into football as it was before. Because how many Super Bowls, does he have left that he has to win until he's like, okay, that's enough now? He's got nothing to prove, really. Maybe he's more worried about the commercials and everything else he's into these days. I mean, just don't know. Just don't know if he's past his prime. So I'm not actively trading for Kelsey. And, both Chris and I were not actively drafting Kelsey where he was going, especially third round, fourth round, even an underdog. Like, just wasn't doing it. And now I regret even drafting Laporta in any format when I did that high, even in best ball. It's easy to say now, of course, right? Of course, it's easy, but still, should have known better, right? Tight ends. Tight ends are just tight ends. I'm not trading for Kelsey. I'm not. All right, what about this? Crazy. 77. Do we consider Ayuk for a trade? Now, Ayuk might be a buy low. Of course, the concern with him is, now that he got paid, is he just like, all right, I'm good? You would hope not, but you can't discount that either. I'm okay considering Ayuk for a trade, but I'm not going to trade Tyreek because Tua will be back, and I'm not trading Mike Evans. So if I get Ayuk, it's only if I'm buying low. And again, not insulting low, don't offer Juwan Jennings to get Brandon Ayuk straight up. Don't offer, Cortland Sutton coming off a decent game. No, just if you can buy low without going guys like this, sure, you can. Especially that. Sal, good point. Sold Nas. He could go crazy this week. Evans has a bad week. He's probably due for a big week. So, all right. And let's go to Sol again. Have Cook and Gesicki. He has Daniels. 16. Again, let's assume you just get a couple from Gesicki, not that he goes off. I don't know. A quarterback versus a running back, 16. I mean, we can't assume James Cook scores 3 times again. So you're gonna need Gesicki to do something. That's for sure. So I wouldn't. Sorry to say, I don't think I would. I wouldn't bet on your side if I were that type, but you do definitely have a shot. Don't worry. You have a decent shot. I wouldn't say it's better than 50-50 though. All right. Let's see. Let's get to Kyle Maddox. Keep Juwan Jennings or try to trade him for something better. 10-man, I'm trading him. Now, you don't absolutely have to trade him, and of course, you're only going to sell if you sell high, but yeah, I have no problem trying to do this. Sell for a guy, and of course, Chris will do the buy low video for later. You can do that. Any of those buy low candidates. Yeah, again, you don't have to, but definitely worth exploring. Let's see what people are willing to pay right now. This is the time to throw it out there, right? Just start dangling him, put some offers out there. All right, Patrick Mahoney for tonight. Eckler or Shakir? In a vacuum, I'll say Shakir. Now, I don't know exactly what your situation is. If you're down, up, tied. Eckler probably has a little bit more of a floor, but even then, not really. So I'm just going to say Shakir, most likely. All right, what's up, Vinny? Vinny Vargas, who to drop? El Rico Suave, Spears, or Gus? I'm going to just right now say Gus is the one I would drop because JK is still healthy. If JK goes down, you're going to want to pick Gus back up. But right now, Gus is the one with the least value. Rico doesn't have much value either because the Cowboys just can't run the ball at all. And even if they can, they're not giving it to just him. So I would say right now I'd drop Gus. Oh, okay. Andres Gregorio. Puka and Flowers for CMC, a swap of the injured players. Look, let's assume best case scenario, both McCaffrey and Nacua are back 100% as soon as they're eligible. I'm going to prefer CMC to Puka. But then we have Flowers on the other side. This may matter too. Is Jordan Mason involved on either side here? I think I might go with the Puka Flower side, because at least for sure getting a player that's going to be an every week must start. So slight edge to the Puka Flower side. Okay. Let's keep going here. Okay, we did talk about Pittman already. Okay, this one for tonight, E111, Stranger Ertz. I'm going to go Strange, more upside. Coleman. Oh, wait, what? Strange or Ertz and Coleman. So one of those tight ends and Coleman versus Chase, it's the Chase side. It's definitely the Chase side. I'm not going to assume anything from Coleman right now. Plus 10 points. Yeah, it's the Chase side. It's got to be the Chase side. Sorry if that's not you. I don't know which side you are. All right. Let's see anything else for tonight or anything pressing. Yeah. Don't worry, Brandon. I got you. Look, I can tell you a whole list of picks I got wrong this week. There's plenty. There's also some I got right. I guarantee you this week, start sit, the booms, gonna get some wrong too. So don't worry. That's one thing that'll definitely for sure happen. I'm not gonna get 100% of these things right, and I will fully admit it. Let's go to. Okay, this one's for tonight. Josh Holt. Down by 10. Opponent has Josh Allen. Okay, so we need 2. I was like, I hope there's more than this because then you're screwed. All right, pick 2. Higgins, BTJ. Okay, it's got to be Higgins. You got to get that upside. If you're down 10 and he has Allen, you need to go for it. Higgins for sure. And I would say, look, Brian Thomas for that ceiling, but I still think Robinson is the better play because not just more of a floor, but I think he does have just as high of a ceiling. I mean, Brian Thomas Jr., I think he's fine as a flex. I flexed him out in a couple leagues, but Brian Robinson's been good, and I think he has more touchdown potential. I'm going to go Higgins, Robinson. Those are the 2 players I just feel best about. And you do have a shot here if Higgins actually does something. All right, Dat Ratchet, what's up? Down 40, okay, but you got Joe and Higgins and Bass. Okay. Well, again, if Joe booms and goes off like he should, and Higgins does something, you have a legit shot here. All right, you got a legit shot. Obviously, you're going to be pulling for the Bengals, which is always a little worrisome. But if it's going to happen, it's going to be this week. It should happen. So I have some faith in you. Ryan Dix started Deontay Johnson, and it finally paid off. There you go. Exactly. Sometimes, again, guys, it's easy to just look at what happened last week, what happened, the week before, and that's it. We already know no, we don't. We don't know what's going to happen. We never know what's going to happen. Nobody, I guarantee you, nobody, even if you picked up and started Juwan Jennings, you did not know this was going to happen. All right. I plugged him into a flex spot in, like I said, 2 leagues, just because I was thinking, oh, maybe he'll score a touchdown. He'll get me like 10 points. Okay. So I'm not a genius because I did that. I guarantee you. It's just, it happens. It happens. Deontay Johnson, I feel like we knew that could definitely happen. But man, that's definitely encouraging. All right. How about Ivan Raras traded Wilson and Swift for Rashee Rice? Man, you got anything out of Swift? Good job. Wilson for Rice. You know what? Give me Rice right now. Just give me Rice. Especially now going forward. No Hollywood. Kelsey might be dust. Just give me Rice. That's a very good move. Nothing else. It's like addition by subtraction. Just getting Swift off your roster. And it's not even him, honestly. I kind of feel bad. He went from the Eagles offensive line to the Bears. I feel like he deserves better, but let's see. Okay, we're trying to get to let's see. Trying to get to again some other ones. Okay. Should I drop Jalen Warren and pick up a second tight end? I have Mark Andrews. You know what? Warren is definitely droppable anyways. Black Ice, by the way. Sorry, Black Ice. Warren was already droppable, and now seeing that he's going to get his knee scoped, it just drop him. Warren is not somebody you have to keep, and I would legit be concerned about Mark Andrews, just like every other tight end. But Mark Andrews, yeah, you got to panic almost as much as Kelsey. You just have to be worried. So I think you should pick up another tight end. Who depends who you got out there. So, I can't say right now. I can't say, well, get Isaiah Likely. What did he do? You know what I mean? So definitely try to get somebody, though. I would say that. All right. Trying to catch up here. Let's see what else. All right. Thank you, Fantasy Football Dude. Appreciate that. Oh, I did not know this. This must have happened. CMC seeing a specialist. That never sounds good. It might not mean anything. It might just be abundance of caution or second opinion. I don't know. Again, I did trade for CMC in one league. Thank you, Keith, who's actively trying to trade him in another league. That's one chance I'll take. I'm not going to do it in another league. I think I'm good for now. All right. Let's see. What else? Okay, rough times again. Up by 18 in PPR with Higgins and Cook playing against Etienne. Okay, well, if you're up by 18 and you have 2 players to his 1, I mean, you should have it definitely locked up. Don't have a kicker set. Only one I can drop is Ingram. I have Ferguson. Do I drop Ingram? No. You should win. If you lose because Etienne goes bananas and somehow Cook does nothing and Higgins does nothing, then it's just the fantasy football gods were against you. I wouldn't do this. I don't want to drop a good player. Although, look, you have Ingram and Ferguson. Man, after Ferguson had a pretty good game, I know it was garbage time, whatever, it still counts. People are desperate for tight ends. See if you can flip Ferguson for something. I mean, I know you can't do this tonight before the games, starting in 10 minutes, but yeah, man, see if you can do that. Get something instead of him and just roll with Ingram. If Ingram is still hurt, you pick up Brenton Strange. I doubt anybody else has got him. So consider that. All right. Alejandro Diaz down 10. They got Cook. I have Chase and Kincaid. Chase really should have a big game. I think you have a good chance here. I think I lean slightly your side. I mean, barely, but I think I'd give you it's like maybe 55 to 45 odds. Really, with Chase, I think you should pull it out. But you never know. All right. Let's see what else. Don't have that much longer until the first kickoff. And of course, there's another game after that, but let's make sure we get any last minute questions in here. Big Lou needs Higgins to outscore the Bills kicker. Man, if he doesn't, then he deserves to be kicked. Come on, T. Just do something, right? Do something. Bench London, look, that was the move, right? T. Higgins should do something. T. Higgins. Okay, what about this? Jordan F. Should I trade Dobbins for Stevenson? I still am going to prefer Stevenson long term. Maybe unpopular opinion. Less unpopular after last week. But yeah, I think I prefer Stevenson. And I think this is the time to make that move. So it's close, though. It is close. I mean, Dobbins obviously been good still. But I think I still got to prefer Stevenson. Bernardo wants to know, should I trade Mason and T for Achane? Ooh, so he's wanting to do this. This is an interesting one. I mean, this is good for him because he gets that Mason, that CMC insurance. T. Higgins, Achane. I don't know. I wonder if you could get a little bit more. Get something else with Achane. I think with Achane right now coming off a down game and Miami looking horrible, I think you could get... Well, you know what? Let's wait. wait until tonight's game and see exactly what T. Higgins does. If T. Higgins does have a good game, his value goes up. I think right now let's hold off on this and see if you can potentially get more. All right, another question here, Kyle Burks. Would you trade Olave for Achane or Jacobs? It's risky with Achane right now. Jacobs, I mean, that those seem fair. Those are fair deals. So would I? Sure. Yeah, actually, if you need running back help, sure. I think you can do either one. I still like Achane's upside better long term, so maybe this is a good time to buy low on Achane. I think you can do this. Yeah, exactly. All right. Lex Dad, what's up? 0-3. Ouch. Oh, it's one of those weeks, isn't it? Dobbins, JMO, Shaheed. Yep. Rashad White. Hill. Yep. Well, when you lose two of your top receivers, that automatically kills you. And then when Tyreek Hill's quarterback goes down, and then of course Shaheed wasn't going to go off every week. Neither was Dobbins. But you know what? Next week will be better. We move on. We move on to another week. Okay, Daniel Caps needs this for tonight. Needs 12 points. Shakir, Kirk, McLaurin. Just going one. I mean, I don't think you can pick Kirk here. God, is it Shakir? It might be Shakir. Honestly, it might be Shakir. It really shouldn't be, but I think it is right now. I can't trust McLaurin just yet. I feel like McLaurin is in the better position to put up points, but is this offense really going to move the ball and score touchdowns? That's the question. I feel like Shakir's got that touchdown upside. You need 12 points, not like 5 or 6. So, man, this is really tough, but I'm going to say I think it's Shakir. Cryptic, should I trade CMC for anything I can get? Let's hold off. I mean, come on. I don't know. I haven't looked honestly recently, like tonight, as far as this whole specialist thing and what's happening with CMC. He hasn't been ruled out of the season just yet. Could you trade him for something? Yes. I wouldn't trade him just for anything. If you're trading him for like a 4th string receiver, what was the point, right? So I don't know. I need to look more into that. That's all I can say. Colette, Shirley, Odunze, or Deontay Johnson. Both good pickups, and got to prefer Deontay right now. Just a little bit barely. Orlando, Rocco Music. All right, needs 14. Who do we pick? Kirk, Gabe, or McLaurin? Not going Gabe. I'm going to go McLaurin over Kirk because that Jags offense is still a little inconsistent, and the Bills defense has been really good. So I'm going to go McLaurin out of this group, Orlando. Ooh, interesting. Slight. Would I trade Gibbs for Reek? This comes down to need, I think, because I would love to trade low, buy low on Tyreek right now, but Gibbs is an RB1, so it's not like it's nothing here. I don't know that this is pretty fair. At this point, it's pretty fair. So I would do this. I mean, sure, if you can trade Gibbs and not be hurting a running back. I mean, it depends how deep you are running back. Well, another Tyreek question. Sunit, trade Jameis. Do I start Jameson or London over Tyreek week 4? Wait till the start video comes out and I'll tell you more about that. Again, haven't really gone through all the matchups yet. I think Tyreek is still startable, of course. I do like Jameson this coming week. London is definitely looking startable. I think you can consider Jameson. I really think you can. I'm not sure if I could get myself to pull the trigger here, but I can't blame you for doing it. All right, actually, let's do BP. Robinson or James Cook tonight? I think you got to go Cook. All right, BP, go Cook. He's a pretty solid, consistent. Not scared of that Jags defense on run defense, so go Cook. Crooners Live, trade Bijan for Mason and CMC. No, I'll keep Bijan. And he was disappointing yesterday, but I'd rather have him than have to worry about the Mason CMC situation. If it's just Mason the rest of the year, are we really putting Mason over Bijan? I don't think I will. Ronnie, what's up, Ronnie? Etienne or Cook? Going Cook. It's close, very close for these guys, but I'm going to go Cook. Definitely got TV upside. All right. Hoodie Lex got Chase and Kincaid down 35. Let's just say we'll be pulling for you. Hey, you never know with Chase. He definitely could against this defense. I wouldn't count on it, but we'll be pulling for you. Ready the gun Sanchez. All right. Do I need to get rid of Rachaad White? You don't need to get rid of him. If you can sell him without selling low and get something, I'm not opposed to it at all. But don't just drop him. Should I trade Xavier Worthy? Well, here's the problem. You're selling low here because he's coming off another nothing game. He will eventually have another game where he scores a touchdown, and then you might want to trade him. All right. So I wouldn't trade right now because I don't know that you're getting a full value for him. Okay. Patrick Vatroder. I said that right. A shocked Raiders fan. Yeah. That was, like I said this, the Raiders are going to be that team this year who beat the good teams they're not supposed to and lose to the bad teams they're not supposed to. All right, drop Jason for Jennings. No, I'm not dropping Jason. I understand you want to pick up Jennings, and sure, pick up Jennings, but don't drop Jason. There's got to be somebody else you can drop. If you have a backup quarterback in a 1 QB league that you don't need, then drop him. There's got to be somebody else you can drop, so don't drop Jason. Let's see. All right. David B wants me to tell him that his season isn't over yet. Look, Amon-Ra, Diggs, Connor, Dobbins, you have good players. Most points against. This is the frustrating thing with head-to-head. And look, your season is not over. 0-3. You don't have to get in there and fire your guys up, and pull off these coaching maneuvers. You don't have to shake up the lineup. You just need the luck to go your way. There's nothing else you can do about this, right? This isn't a real life team that needs to turn things around. It's luck. A lot of it is luck. Let's just face it. It's just how it is. Just set your best lineup every week that you can and hope it falls your way. That's it. Nicholas, the last couple, because game's about to kick off. Playing Daniels, Higgins, and Cook needs 34. Yeah, you have all three of those guys and your opponent has nothing. I think you make it. Look, even if T. Higgins leaves you high and dry, which he could, I think just those other two players could still pull it out for you. So, yeah, I'll bet on you. Okay, last couple quickies here. Crazy. Do we keep Mostert? You don't have to. You really don't. Okay, for tonight, Danny Barrientos. Zach Moss or T. Higgins, you got to go the upside of T. Higgins, especially if you need something for tonight to win. Let's trust T. Higgins, see what happens. Supposedly he's healthy. Trenton, Blue, Gesicki or Kincaid, you got to go Kincaid still. You got to go Kincaid. Yeah, he's got to do something, doesn't he? Man. All right. Anything else? Yeah. SC3, T. Higgins. You got to go T. Higgins or Brian Thomas. Go T. Higgins, guys. Hate to say it, but you got to go T. Higgins. The Jedi here, Anakin Skywalker, up 25. Opponent has Kincaid, Shakir. You should win. I don't see both those guys going off. So I think you got it. I mean, I would love to see Kincaid finally have a huge game because that's what I expected, but yeah, I don't think he'll go off to that extent. Ooh, that's an interesting one. Darrell Kurt, I want you to ask this again tomorrow or the next day on the stream. I'll get Chris's thoughts here. Diggs for Adams. They're both guys that he was out on pretty much this preseason. Been inconsistent, right? Who knows? All right, and then Spearsy got the super chat. Thank you. Is it time to drop Zamir White? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I said this at the very beginning of the stream. Not only is he getting pulled at the goal line for Alexander Madison, Like, why? Why? Alexander Madison is not like a significantly bigger running back. They're like the same size. And he's been bad in short yardage. All last year he was bad. I mean, he's capitalized a couple of times, of course, this year. But Zamir White, why not even try him at the goal line? And then he's not getting a lot of receptions, and he's getting scripted out, and he's been bad. So just drop him. Just drop him. I'm done. I give up. That's the guy I was really hopeful for this preseason. All right. I think we're pretty much there because game time. So, guys, appreciate y'all. Good luck tonight. If you have any more players going, hopefully everyone pulls out a win. And, of course, the videos are going to continue to come out for all of this coming week. So check it out. And, of course, don't forget, More Money Monday right now. Underdog, you get your picks in right now. Get those profit boost tokens you can take advantage of, and that's if you already have an account as well. And then new customer special. If you haven't tried Underdog, I don't know if you got time to take advantage of this one, the Joe Burrow higher than 1 yard, but don't worry, there's a different new customer special coming out for this coming week, so you can do that. And of course, if you didn't get your question answered here, or you still have questions tomorrow, the next day, anytime, any day, use the app. It's called Draft Lane. Download it for free. App Store, Play Store, free to use, and new customers get that $10 credit so you can use it for anything you want. You don't even have to do the super chat. You can try it right now. So check it out. All right. That's it, guys. Appreciate you. We'll see you on the next one.